Kane here from Informed Health. I'm a nutritionist, mind body eating coach and holistic counsellor, and we work online, and we also work at our clinic, which is in Kermond in Hawkesbury in Sydney, on the outskirts of Sydney. So I wanted to talk to you today about food addiction. Are you addicted to food? I think it's really important to discuss this because a lot of people relate to this, and language is very important, and the way we talk about food addiction is very important. So this is the sort of thing that we cover in our Stress Less program and one-to-one consultations, like our coaching consultations, but I just wanted to give you a snippet here to give you an idea of the sorts of things that you can learn. So, are you addicted to food? Good question. Well, the problem is that when we use the term addiction in relation to food, it actually causes a major stress in our brain. It's really big stress, because when you think about addiction and when you think about the ways that we deal with addiction in our society, most programs that are related to addiction are abstinence programs, right? So if you were addicted to drugs or alcohol, then you would do an abstinence program because that's what's absolutely appropriate for those substances. Whereas with food, you can't do an abstinence program for food, right? Because you need food for survival. For absolute survival on this planet, you need food, right? So the problem is that when we create food as the thing we need to be abstinent from, and we tell our brain that food is the enemy and we need to be abstinent from the food, can you see how that basically it puts your body, your body gets flushed with stress hormones, your stress chemistry puts you into that fight or flight stress chemistry every time you go to eat, right? And the problem with being in that chemistry when you go to eat is you're going to get more indigestion, and you're not going to be able to use your calories properly, and you're going to be pumping cortisol and glucose into your system, so you are actually more likely to be putting on weight when your body is bathed in that stress chemistry. So being bathed in stress chemistry when we go to eat is not a good idea. However, if we label ourselves a food addict, that's exactly what's happening when we go to eat, because we've essentially said that we have a problem with food, that food is dangerous, therefore we need to avoid food, but we need to eat to survive. So that's pretty. Can you see the conundrum that is for your mind and body, that you've just put yourself in this total sort of stressful place? So it is really important to reframe that language around addiction. So because we can't be abstinent from food, right? So it's just messing with our psychology. And so what we need to do is we need to use different language around it. So we need to say that I'm learning to nourish myself with food, or I sometimes have some food challenges, or sometimes there's certain foods I can struggle with or I have issues with. But there's a difference between saying that I have a problem to saying I am a problem too. I'm a food addict, right? That makes me the problem, okay? So you've just defined yourself as this problem. And if you are the problem, how do you fix the problem? Because it's who you are, right? So we do need to put space between ourselves and our problem. So we do need to define it as an experience that we have, or an issue that we have, or something that we have a challenge with, as opposed to I am a food addict. And also, yes, I know you can have habituation to food. I get that, because a lot of us really, really like our sugar. However, just using that word addiction totally messes with your brain, totally messes with your mind, and bathes you in that stress chemistry all of the time around food. And we don't want to be stressed around food. We want to be relaxed around food, so we can use the nutrients and use the calories and all the things that food is there for, right? So we do need to reframe the way that we talk about food, because if you start to perceive food as an enemy or a threat, there is a big problem there, right? So it is really, really important to understand that when we talk to ourselves, or when we talk to others about our experiences with food, we don't use language that makes us the problem, and that we don't use language that makes food the enemy, because food can't be the enemy when you're a human being that needs food for survival. Simple as that. So we definitely need to learn how to reframe that, and we can talk about the experience we're having, or we can say sometimes you feel like you're a bit habituated towards a certain food, but food cannot be the enemy. Eating cannot be a stressful experience where your body feels like it's coming up against the enemy every time you're in front of food. So we do really need to look at the language we use around food, and the language we use if we feel like we are habituated to or have certain habits around food. The language we use around how we describe that and how we say that is really important. And these are the kinds of things I can help you with if you want to do some coaching. So what we do is we have the mind and body coaching, mind and body wellness coaching, and you can do it online or in person, but you can book. I've put the link above anyway. So if you want help with that, book in, and you can have a look at the programs and things we offer. We're going to be doing our stress related program again. We're running it now, but the next one will start in September, and we cover this sort of stuff in that topic, in that program. If we have demand to do it earlier, we will do it earlier. However, at this point, we'll probably do it in September. So anyway, the way that you talk about your relationship with food is really important and is really powerful. You can't label yourself as a problem, and you can't be addicted to something that you require to abstain from when that something is something that you need to survive, right? That just totally messes with your mind and your physiology. So it's really important to learn how to differentiate the language to use and how to talk about your experience with food. And if you do have challenges around food, book an appointment with me and I can help you. You can also book at that same link. You can just book a 20-minute free strategy session just to get a feel for what we do and see if I can help you. I hope that was very useful for you, that you've learned a little bit about the difference between calling yourself a food addict or just saying, look, I have some challenges around food sometimes. It's two very different things and very powerful to know the difference. And if you need help around it, then that's what we can do for you. Okay, hope you have a lovely day. Thanks, bye.